Hey friends, I'm Dan Foulds.
Hey, and I'm Brandon Bain.
This is Rubbin' and Grubbin'. We are on the set of a live show at Coach's Corner. We talk about racing. Rubbin' is racing.
Grubbin' is tasting, Dan.
Because we're going to eat some good food tonight too. We want to thank the people on ESPN Radio's Facebook live stream who are seeing us there. If you're seeing this on the Coach's Corner live stream, we like that. If you're seeing this on the YouTube channel, we're glad you're here. We'd like to have you drop a comment. We'd like to have you like whatever platform the stream is you're looking at. And we'd like you to share this with your friends.
Like, share, follow, Rubbin' and Grubbin', get some people interested in it. Do a really good job keeping up with what's going on in NASCAR. All right, man, and we're back to racing, man. So now we got some stuff to talk about.
Yes, we do.
So any kind of love is greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. Green, White, Checkered, hosted by PJ Zuko on ESPN Radio, is coming back on the radio this Sunday at 9 a.m. ESPN Radio. That means I got to get up at 6:30 and start taking notes again.
Back to those early Sunday mornings.
Here we go again.
But there again, tune in 104.3 ESPN Radio. Awesome show we do every Sunday 9. Pretty sure it's going to stay at Sunday at 9 o'clock, man, with PJ.
I learned about it here.
Yeah, man, really good stuff. It's a little bit tighter frame than Rubbin' and Grubbin'. We get loose with it around here, but that show's a lot of fun, real informative, man. It's such a blast, and just thankful to give it another go, man, another season. So.
Well, when we're on the radio with PJ, we have 66% of the crew that knows about NASCAR.
Right.
Right now we're down at 50% that knows about NASCAR. The way this started, by the way, is we have a little game of skill that occurs here at Coach's on Wednesday nights, and it involves, the transfer of funds. And I used to look at Brandon and ask him questions about NASCAR and drivers and, how's this work and how's that work. And this young man impressed upon me years ago that his knowledge of NASCAR, and indeed sports in general, is pretty much encyclopedic. So I said, we should do a show someday, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. We should do a show someday, just talk about NASCAR. And I'll ask you questions and you can teach me and we'll just be on. And that's the premise of the show. And I'll be a son of a bitch if we didn't turn that into an ESPN radio show. Yeah. And this will be our second season. Incoming! There's our swear bucket. Money for charity every time we drop a swear word. This will be our second year on ESPN Radio. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I look forward to it. I mean, some of those Sunday mornings, we talk after the show. Those are pretty rough mornings for me, whether it's a long night Saturday night or whether it's just, the work. But at the end of the day, it's a blast, man. And we all have a really good time doing it. And PJ's such a good host, man. I mean, really good questions. We're always talking about some real informative stuff, man. And we're going to try to get him to go 3 wide here coming up soon, man. So, yeah, if you hadn't heard it, 104.3 ESPN Coastal, check us out. Me, PJ Zuko, Dan, and Brandon, 9 o'clock every Sunday, 9 to 9:30, man. Give it a whirl.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, it's time for the Rubbin' and Grubbin' word of the day. If you are over 21 years of age and legally able to do this, play along and take a shot or a sip of your favorite beverage when you hear one of us say the word of the day. Do you know what the word is?
I have no idea.
I have no idea what the word is. Only the brains behind the camera knows. Tonight's word of the day is, and when you hear it, cheers. The word of the day last week was clash.
Okay. All right.
We're
getting there.
Word.
I like it. He's sliding them in there.
NASCAR news. We are a NASCAR show.
That's it.
We are only 4 days away from the green flag dropping for the Super Bowl of racing, the Daytona 500.
Yeah, man. America's
We are
great
less
race,
than
man.
24 hours away from the twin duels on Thursday. And by the way, in the 500, young Mr. Hamlin is going for a three-peat.
Yeah. Trying to win 3 in a row, man. I mean, it's very possible. I mean, we talk about it all the time on the show. At Daytona and Talladega, man, anything is possible. Right. Anybody can go out and get that win. If you're in the right place at the right time, make the right move at the right time, get a little help, get a little luck, you can win it.
Has anybody ever won 3 Daytona 500s in a row?
No, I don't think so.
The producer's notes say no.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So this would be like one of the last great
Yeah, this
records.
could be one of the first, you
Yeah.
know. This
Like-
could be one of the first, man. I mean, there's, you know.
That would put Hamlin in the history
top
books
of the
forever.
bar. Yeah, that's top of the bar. You know, yeah, you might have 3 in your career or 4 in your career, but 3 in a row, you know. So that's something. I mean, there's a lot of great drivers that didn't even ever get one. So
Right.
let's just keep it at that. A lot of good ones.
Yep. The world-renowned United States Air Force Thunderbirds will perform this Sunday's flyover at the Daytona 500. The flyover will mark the 11th consecutive year that America's ambassadors in blue make an appearance. And as a veteran myself, I'm proud to be associated with those guys. I was in the Air Force for 7 years. I like the Air Force just fine. And then I was in the Army for 13 years.
How about the Navy?
Hey, I've stayed on a Navy ship. I've had Marines in the back. You know, I mean, listen, we're all one big happy family.
Space Force?
Space Force. They're gonna do some. They're gonna do some Star Wars shit. Watch. Don't. Never listen. Never sell the United States military short in any regard ever. Don't do it. And if you're China, don't sell the United States military short. They will open a can of whip ass on you. I'm telling you. 8 drivers are trying to race their way in for the 4 remaining spots for the Daytona 500. These teams do not have a charter. And we talked about charters on a show earlier, or maybe last year. If you don't have a charter, you got to actually get in the race. And charters, by the way, are expensive, millions of dollars.
Correct.
So it's a big deal to have a charter. So who is this? Number 13, Garrett Smithley. 16, Kaz Gralla. 33, Austin Cindric. He's new, right? He just came out of Xfinity.
I mean, you know, been down an Xfinity series. I mean, expect to see that kid pretty much contend, if not dominate, for the Xfinity championship this year.
Yeah.
He's on fire. Next year, moving up to the 21 car at the Woods Brothers, dude.
Right.
He's a really good talent. And I'll tell you something else. You know, he's a really good racer. And I don't count him out. The equipment might not be there, but there again, as I've said before, anything can happen. But man, he's going to have to run a really good Daytona 500 if he makes it in. So he's got to run smart for sure.
Number 36, David Reagan. 37, Ryan Preece. 62, Noah Gragson. I like this kid.
Yeah, another young kid, very talented.
And number 96, Ty Dillon. And our producer's favorite driver and a friend of the show, number 66, big tall Timmy Hill. Big, who's getting in?
8 in the last 4 spots. I'm probably going to say...
Ink pen, I got to take notes here because we're going to have money on this.
I mean, I'm going to say Noah Gragson for sure, Austin Cindric for sure, David Reagan.
That's 3.
And let's go Ty Dillon.
All right. You know, I think that I would probably do that too.
No, I mean, you know, I like Timmy. I'm just, here we go, man.
Hey, you remember when? Hey, you remember when Timmy won an iRace with a desktop freaking setup and a steering wheel and won the damn race? You know, the Clash. What a race! Let's break it down. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good. How about that finish? Your boy flat punted.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he did.
Shaboom, drop kick, you're out.
He did, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're like best friends too, man.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do it, you did it in a non-point race. You did it when it's just for bragging rights and this and that. And I mean, the way I look at it, Blaney shouldn't have let him get that close if he was that good, you know. So it happens. I mean, that's part of the race. I'm not gonna be upset if the shoe was on the other foot. I wouldn't be upset. I was upset because that's who I had in our game of skill over here.
Yeah.
I was upset about that.
Right.
But, and I think even more than that, I mean, I'm more upset that we're starting the year out with Kyle Busch on his wheels. Like, you know, last season.
Right side up.
I mean,
race.
last season we had a whole conversation of why he was on the hood every show, right?
He was like this last year forever, you know?
Until he finally got the win at Texas, and then it was like, all right, man, you know, cool, great. Now you're back on the wheels. Well, he starts the year off on the wheels, man. So, right place, right time. You know, he drove himself close enough to make it.
How many times have I seen that, though? We're in a race. You know, 1 and 2, they get into a a rubbing contest.
Yeah.
I almost said the wrong thing. They get into a rubbing contest and they crash each other, and number 3 goes shoot and squirts by there.
Yeah,
right?
it happens, man. I mean, prime example of it was Cole Custer last year. Getting his win.
Did Cole Custer just win?
Right. I mean, he went 4 wide or 5 wide or whatever it was while everybody up front's racing.
Yeah.
He had clean air and was moving. So. It's just a classic thing. I mean, that's one of the deals, the great things about NASCAR, man, that's one, how rivalries are built, but they're good friends, and they're, again, like I said, non-point race, man.
Imagine you're sitting in your chair watching this race.
Yeah. Now,
you're fixing to make $1,000 if your man wins.
Right. Now,
or more,
Now, had that been, towards the end of the season or make or break for somebody's chase, oh, man, that's going to be night and day, that reaction.
The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Yeah, but
the producer almost was in the money, and then just like that, shoot, he was out of it.
Well, the LB was in the money until I tried to come take it from him, and then it got taken from me. You know what I mean? So
there you go.
However that works, but there again, the third place guy won.
Third place guy won. The number 19 car of Martin Truex Jr., and I actually like Martin.
Yeah.
He had a rough night, to say the least. His trouble started when, while leading, he mistakenly drove through the chicane during the competition caution. I could do that. It was a procedural screw-up.
Yeah, that was the first one.
And he had to restart from the rear. A few laps later, he hit the mud on the track and went into the wall. Big, have you ever seen Cup cars get that muddy during a race?
Not that I can remember. I mean, that was pretty good. It's just, that's part of it when you got grass around, and you're racing on it. So the one thing I will say about that race last night at the Clash, for that to be a road course, and I understand it's only 21 cars is what they ran last night, but that's half the field,
Right.
just say half the field, a little bit over half the field.
Right.
So for guys that had mistakes, whether it be on pit road or whether it was, spin outs, or whatever it may be, a majority of those guys were able to rebound really well. For it being a road course, it seems like when you're at a Sonoma, Watkins Glen maybe a little bit more like this, but like a Sonoma, you mess up, you do that, I mean, you're down big time. Even on pits, whether it puts you behind on your strategy, whether it puts you behind on tires, whether it did something totally different for you. So, I was impressed with how quick guys were able to rebound, man. I mean, that for me was pretty cool deal of the night.
Mr. Harvick was getting into the mud a little bit.
Yeah, he had a couple
the ugly
last night.
The last lap dust up between the number 2 hard racing buddies, number 9 of Chase Elliott.
That's it.
And the number 12 car of Ryan Blaney. They went into the chicane too wide, and only one made it through.
Yeah.
Elliott spun Blaney out, punched him, poosh, punted him, kicked him, whatever you want to use, whatever words come to you. It was a serious, hey, screw you, pow! Busch was licking his chops in third place and passed him for the win.
Yeah. Like I said, man, you just got, to me, that's a racing deal. I mean, like I said, if the shoe was on the other foot, it's still going to be a racing deal. I mean, that was for no points, just for fun, get a little bit of data, which they got. I mean, here we are, we're going to the 500 this weekend. I hate to just skip about the 500, but the following weekend we're at the road course at Daytona.
Right.
So this just told them a lot of little short run information, and of course cars will be set up different strategies, but you kind of got what the tires lasted in these conditions. Now, I don't know if that road course races at night as well or if it's during the day, but either way that's going to change it up. But you can really see who had really good equipment, who's going to be there, some contenders probably a week from this Sunday. So it's going to be interesting, man.
This leads us to our first checkered flag for charity of this year. So it was the number 18 car of Kyle Busch that won. That means we're donating $18 to our charity of choice. That charity has helped save one of our own. And now we're going to get serious here just for a second. We're going to talk about something serious and real. Let's just say that you live in Savannah and you're a regular schmo working at Gulfstream, working at the port, and because of the cost of insurance, you aren't able to have insurance for your wife. And your wife goes to a clinic one day and she comes home and said, honey, I'm sorry, I've got breast cancer. And you don't have insurance for that. And you're not exactly sure what in the actual hell you're going to do. So your wife may get sent down to Jacksonville, and maybe you need to be going down there with her. And where are you going to stay, and how are you going to make up for the money because you can't go to work because you're taking care of your wife. I mean, how are you going to cover your living expenses? How are you going to help take care of the kids? You are well and truly screwed. And that story, or one just like it, gets repeated over and over right here in Savannah, Georgia. And the saving angel in that story over and over again is a local 501c3 charity called Help Save One of Our Own. And I became aware of them when we here at Coach's Corner got involved with the Save Randy Davis project. And we again leaned on them when we got involved with the Becca Bash out back. They've been doing this for 31 years. It's just a really strong organization. We've leaned on them twice to the tune of about $65,000, $70,000. And so what we're going to do all this year, everything we do is going to be for Help Save One of Our Own.
Yeah, man. I mean, what a great organization. As we said, past few weeks, man, got a big bowling tournament coming up. There again, all the funds proceeds
Spiffy
that
shirts,
are
yes.
all the proceeds that are made there going straight over to them.
Yes.
I mean, it feels good to help somebody that's been helping somebody. You know what I mean? So, as always, with every charitable thing that me and Dan decide to do at Rubbin' and Grubbin' or John and Adele, I mean, it's nothing but support by the local community. And that's who's really making the difference. We get to sit up here and talk about it and have a good time, and we donate our shares, our time, our funds as well. But the amount of money that's raised and the amount of help that this creates in your community is based on all the locals. It is from y'all. It is not from us. It is a collective thing as a community, as a whole, trying to help people. So really good cause. Like we always say all the time, if you got any spare change laying around, come down, throw it down, make a donation. Come out to the bowling tournament down at Tibet. It's going to be a blast. You can make some donations there. You can pay, say, hey, I'll pay you 5-10 cents a pin, whatever it may be. Just come down, support there. As always, you can always drop by Coach's right here in Thunderbolt, Georgia. Make a donation in person. Say, hey, I just want to make a donation, for the charity, and wham, bam, out the door you go, man. So definitely turn out for that.
So we're going to have this bowling challenge. That is on the 28th of February. Again, it's at the Tibet Lanes here in Savannah. We're going to be competing against the 3 other shows on our sports network. The 19th Hole Live with the Herb Brothers. If you don't know who the Herb family is, you don't live in Savannah. The Coach Carl DeMasi Sports Report with the coach and the AD Chad Griffin are on a team. And the Hot Grits Podcast with 2 young men who need some straightening out.
Oh, man. They're good. They're great guys, man. Travis
They are great guys.
do a good job.
They're great guys.
I tell you what, man.
We're just going to beat them.
Yeah, we're gonna give it our best, man. I promise you that. We're gonna go out there and give it the best. I mean, that's what we do always, man. And at the end of the day, it's gonna be a great time for anybody and everybody involved. So like I said earlier, make sure you guys turn out for that. Tibet Lane, Sunday, February 28th.
Right.
Gonna be a great time, man. We're going to do the best we can. Me and Dan got a little something in our back pocket. Those guys, they don't know. I mean, I'm kind of worried about Coach and the AD because I haven't heard much, Coach Carl was in here talking a little bit, but not nothing bad, man. Right. Crazy, and it's kind of scary when you don't hear it. It's like, oh, well, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to walk it.
You got to be quiet.
Yeah. I mean, we'll
right?
see. I mean, we're only a few weeks away, man, and it's going to be a great time. I'm ready for it. I'm stoked. I'm ready for it.
You can sponsor your favorite show in our bowling tournament. We're looking for donations like 10 cents a pin, 25, 50, or hey, if you're a corporate sponsor, how about $1 a pin? Or a flat donation would be great. We also need lane sponsors, and if you're a lane sponsor, we're putting we're going to have a sign with your business name up on the lane, and we're going to let everybody know, and this will all be all over the Facebook feed for coaches. You will get some visibility if you're a corporate sponsor and you choose to support this. All your donations are tax deductible. Help Save One of Our Own does issue letters for your tax returns, and you can look for a promotional video for the challenge. Now we're back to races. Big, who are your 5 drivers to watch for the duels tomorrow night?
At the duels. I don't even know who's in what and where, but all right, 5 guys you're going to have to watch out for the duels, man. I mean, obviously, Denny Hamlin. If he doesn't come out and get the pole tonight, I mean, you might as well go ahead and put him, you know, in one of those duels racing hard. If he wins, he's probably not going to run that car.
And they're on the track, right? They're on the regular track.
Yeah, they're back to Daytona,
regular
man.
Track.
The restrictor plate, or you know, governed, you know, horsepower.
550
arrow,
horsepower.
That's it. Run it, man.
Okay.
So 11's got to be one for sure. The 9's going to be another, and there again, this depends on how they're grouped and where they're grouped. I think a guy, you know, another guy you got to kind of look out for. Pretty decent little road course racer, you know, somebody that you really don't think about is Bubba Wallace. I mean, I know I read earlier today fastest in the first practice that they had, fastest in the first practice, but if you go back and you look at where he was at in July at this race when William Byron got his win, and I know this is a totally different ball game, I get that, but at the end of the day, you know, Bubba Wallace is right there, man. And now, I mean, they showed some speed, man. That's a JGR car. So what that tells me is when this race starts, whether it's duels or whether it's the 500, he's going to find a way to get with those Gibbs cars.
Yeah.
And there's 3 guys that really kind of know what they're doing. Kyle Busch doesn't have the restrictor plate wins that you would think. Not quite his style. But Truex and Denny Hamlin, I mean, come on, man. You get linked up with those 4 and Toyota gets linked up together. That's going to be a tough pack to beat, and you're definitely going to learn something from them. So where are we at? That was 3 or 4? That's 4?
You got Hamlin, Elliott, and Bubba Wallace.
Ryan Blaney. I mean, he always seems to find a way right
guy.
Here at the restrictor plate races. And
He's got an excellent podcast,
another
by the
Penske
way.
driver, Brad Keselowski. I mean, those are, you know, 5 guys for the duels. Now, like I say, the 500 be a little bit different depending on where they qualify. And like I said, this depends on who's in what duels. I mean, if you have all 3 Penske cars in one duel and, you know, Hamlin in a single duel by himself, I mean, there's no telling. But, I mean, there's a lot of guys in this race coming up that don't normally run. I mean, you've got a past 500 champion, Jamie McMurray.
So what is the purpose of the duels?
So the duels set your starting position for the 500. Okay. So you're going to qualify tonight, right? They're qualifying. Only 2 positions maintain their speed. That's first and second place.
Okay.
So first and second place, if they qualify, they don't have to run the duels. They're going to be put in a duel. They're going to start the race. They'll probably park the car.
Okay.
Right? They've got the speed. They've got what they want. They're starting up front. Wide chance to wreck it.
Right.
Now for everybody else, you're racing to see where you're placed and where you start that Daytona 500. So odd numbers will start, even numbers, wherever, you know, even and odd finishers or however it may go.
On the
2 races
on the tri-oval.
on the track, different guy, you know, different groups of guys in each one, and then they'll combine that field on finishes where you finish. You know, obviously the winners of the duel will go second. You know, I mean, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So you know, so on, all the way down.
Okay.
So
very cool.
There's a lot of guys running in this, man. Like I said, it's a big money race. This is a make or break opportunity for a lot of these underfunded teams that only plan on running maybe 2 or 3 races. I'm telling you right now, if one of these guys maintain and get a good finish, say top 15, top 18, because there's going to be a wreck. That's just what happens. Right. We all know that. If they can avoid it, stay out of it, and take out a lot of cars, I mean, they can be right there, man. We saw it last year. I mean, think about it when Ryan Newman went for his ride, his unfortunate wreck, you know, right there. Newman was up there. I mean, you had Corey LaJoie up there. Yeah. You had, you know, numerous guys that were up there that survived that race, that were there going for that win. So to get those finishes for like a single car team, underfunded team, that is a huge, huge step in the right direction. That can really make or break a season. So
awesome. Well, now we're going to talk about the Daytona 500. Same question. 5 drivers.
5 drivers for the 500. I mean, there again, I mean, you can't bet against him till he loses. Let's go Denny Hamlin.
All right.
We'll go Chase Elliott.
That's the same. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna have to go Keselowski.
Okay.
You're gonna have to go Joey Logano.
Everybody's favorite driver.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I mean for 5, we'll throw. Let's go. Let's surprise everybody here, and let's get back to something that's a little different, right? Let's go the 5 of Larson. Let's go to 5 of Larson.
I was going to say
right?
Larson, and I hear the coach over here in the gallery, you know, hollering out Bubba Wallace.
Yeah.
You know,
no, I mean, like I said, let's go.
We do
Larson.
have the amazing, awesome, spectacular Coach Carl DeMasi with us here. He's going to be coming on right after us.
Like I said, I thought Bubba was going to do good, you know, in his dual race. Probably going to have some speed there, but
all right,
that's
so
top 5
for the 500. Biggs predictions: Hamlin, Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, and Larson. Let's look. Now, we're going to go way out.
All
the
right.
long view.
Let's do it.
Crystal ball, final race of the year. 4 drivers to make the championship four.
4 drivers in championship 4?
I know you're going to say Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott.
I can just write that. Yeah.
Kyle Busch.
All right.
We'll go Denny Hamlin.
Okay.
And let's go Ryan Blaney, man.
You haven't said Harvick.
No, let's go Ryan Blaney.
Blaney, okay.
Yeah.
I like Blaney.
Yeah, I think if you look back over the season last season, Elliott obviously shows what he can do. I mean, if you're not asking for a back-to-back championship for Chase Elliott this year, then I don't know what you're asking for.
He doesn't like Chase Elliott or anything.
We're making more right-hand turns this year than any time before. Yep. I mean, you can possibly see the 2020 champion.
Yep.
But we're on more road course races this year than any other year before, right?
Yes.
The man's won 4 out of the last 5 now, if you want to call last night an official road course race. But I look at that, the streak's still alive. It's not a points-paying race. So at the end of the day, even if it's not, hey, man, we'll go, 5 out of the last 6. I mean, how many of these road courses can he win on an even playing field where none of these guys have raced, right?
Right.
We're going to look at it. We're going to make our little practice runs. I think 8 races this year they get to practice. I know a couple road courses. Some they've ran, but at the end of the day, the kid's phenomenal, right? So, I mean, if you're not asking back-to-back, and he proved what he could do at Phoenix in the last race, and
yes.
he proved what he could do at Martinsville.
Yes.
Now, the one weak point that he has, and this is my favorite guy, and I think it's going to change a little bit this year, is Hendrick as an organization struggled a little bit at 1.5-mile tracks, which is the majority of the schedule, or was a majority of the schedule,
right.
and still plays a huge part. So I think they get some things tightened up this year, 1.5-mile programs as a whole organization. I think Kyle Larson being there is definitely going to help.
Yes.
So that's why I got him first. Second, going with Logano. I mean, he's like a staple, very consistent. Might win a few races, might get 2 races, but he's very consistent week in and week out. I think that the relationship that he now has with Paul Wolfe, I think that they made Keselowski lost a lot when he switched over.
Yes.
Like I said, definitely think Logano will be there again. Hamlin, I just think it's he understands, it's one of those types of year. I mean, you saw it last night in that race, the dominance that he's able to have at times.
Yes.
And he's a great road course racer, doesn't have the wins to necessarily show for it, but he's always right there. He's always been a really good guy, So, and there again, won a lot of races last year, a lot of good runs, let some races get away from him he probably should have won. So he could have even won more than that. So I think right now he's peaking. As we say, it's a streaky sport, something to start off on, but I'm telling you right now, the 11. And the reason I go Ryan Blaney is because if you go back and you look through last year, how many times Ryan Blaney was leading that race at the very winding down laps or was dominating a race.
Oh, incoming.
Was dominating a race and then turned around after dominating and like at Bristol, led 100-something laps and, has a mistake, hits the wall, out of the race. Las Vegas at the beginning part of the year, comes in, everybody stays out, didn't pay off.
Right.
I mean, that's 2 right there. You know what I mean? It's just – I think that he's starting to peak. You see the talent Chase Elliott has. You can definitely see the talent that Ryan Blaney has. Those 2 guys are definitely going to be 2 superstars in the future.
Yep.
So I mean that's why I had to put him in there. Let's look for somebody different a little bit than Keselowski and from the Harvick. Honestly, in my opinion, I think Kevin Harvick's still going to come out and have some really good races. I'm going to say he wins 4 or 5 races this year.
Okay.
But I don't say it's going to be as dominating as what it has been in the past 4 or 5 years. He's not coming out to win 9, to win 7. Like I said last year, he won 9 races, but we got down to the race before the Final 4, and he didn't make it. 9 wins, he still didn't make it.
Yes.
And that tells me it just wasn't consistent when he had bad runs. It was DNFs, it was this. But he won. He ran really good. So, like I said, I think he's kind of on the downward slope. We'll have to see. I mean, obviously, we go into Atlanta, my home track soon. I'm going to be pulling for Elliott. I want to see him get the hometown track. But at the end of the day, we know it's House of Harvick. So, I mean, we'll see. Long season ahead. But those are the 4.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir. Listen. Thank you, fans. If you're still here, holy crap, you got some freaking, you got some endurance. We've got a special guest. He's here.
We're going 3 wide.
We got something really, really special to do now. We got something special going on. Hello, sir. How are you? Come on up. Come on up. I got this. I got this.
That's Mike.
This is Micheal Carter.
No, Mike. Oh, yeah!
Look at this. This is actually quite an honor because, we sit up here and talk about racing, and this young man actually goes out and races.
Yeah.
The real deal. We are proud to welcome professional IMSA driver and Savannah native, BC graduate, I might add, Micheal Carter, to our show. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach. Don't get ahead of me. Micheal is currently racing in the Mazda MX-5 Cup and is crushing it. He's also a full-time student at Georgia Tech, majoring in finance and minoring in engineering. So he's like not just good-looking, he's brains too. He's smart. So how do you balance racing and school?
It's definitely a balance, like you say. It's almost like a ballet, but school, believe it or not, comes first. I would think.
Yeah.
Racing has always been a part of my life, but it's always got to make the grades if I want to go racing.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
Yeah.
Do you watch NASCAR?
I do a little bit.
Do you have a favorite driver?
Favorite? Everybody's favorite, I guess. I always liked Dale Earnhardt Jr., but he retired.
Yeah.
As far as now, I don't know. I like Kyle Busch.
Okay.
Everybody seems to hate Kyle Busch, but I like Kyle Busch.
There you go. Well, he won. He won last night.
He's a wheel man.
He's a wheel man.
Yeah.
So you started driving a quarter midget car outside your dad Mickey's automotive shop when you were 3?
4, 3, yeah.
3, somewhere in there?
Somewhere around there.
Your dad painted a track on the parking lot?
He did.
How about that?
It was
awesome, man.
That's freaking racing family right there.
Yeah.
Then you started racing quarter midgets for real. What was that like, racing quarter midgets as a kid?
Quarter midgets, it was awesome. It was little cars, kind of like a go-kart. They have a roll cage.
Yeah.
They have suspension.
Did you crash?
A good bit. Flipped over.
Yeah.
But quarter midgets was a great time. It taught me a lot teaches anybody about the fundamentals of racing.
Yes.
Ryan Blaney actually raced at the same track that I raced at. He's, I think, about 6 years older than me, but
Okay.
I grew up watching him, in the older classes.
I like him. Yeah, I like Ryan.
Harrison Burton, I used to race against him in quarter midgets.
Yep.
John Hunter Nemechek, raced against him a good bit.
So if you're picking up a trend here,
Yeah, man.
remember this face.
He's in it to win it.
Yeah, remember this face, and remember that he was here on Rubbin' and Grubbin' way back when.
Quarter midgets are great.
At 13 years old, you were regularly racing and winning in the 440 class at Oglethorpe Speedway Park and at Screven. You got 11 victories? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
11 victories?
1 year, yeah.
What did the older drivers think of you, going out there and just tearing their tails up?
I think they were all open to it. The reason we raced out at Oglethorpe was to one, kind of get me used to racing a full-size car.
Yes?
And also to get my mom used to the idea of me
That's your son in a car going really fast.
Exactly. Luckily, she.
Did your mom and your dad ever have words about this?
No, she wasn't there on the nights that I wrecked real big. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
kind of a plus. But yeah, I had a good time out there, and I think everybody was pretty open to it. And
This
a
is
lot of
very
fun.
cool. We're really glad you're here with us. At 15, you started racing Spec Miata, kind of similar to the MX-5 Mazda. Does that give you an advantage over your current competitors?
So, I think it groomed me pretty well for the current series. A lot of the people that I'm racing against now have come up, like Jared Thomas and some of my other competitors.
Yeah.
We've all come up through Spec Miata and through Mazda's ladder system.
Okay.
And so it's prepared me in a way, but also, I'm still racing a lot of the same people that I've raced with for the past 5 or 6 years. So.
This is spectacular. Our producer tells a story about you in your early Spec Miata racing days, and it goes like this. You can tell if it's true. There was a practice day at Roebling Road for Spec Miatas, and a veteran driver who we can leave him nameless, had his car prepped and ready to run. He said, "Hey, you can run my car around the track for a few laps." You'd never been in this guy's car before. You get in, you drive the wheels off it, and you beat his best personal lap time by 3 or 4 seconds. Have I got that right?
Are we talking about Quentin Coward?
Yeah, my brother from another mother. Yes, we are. Yeah, you know what? I guarantee you Quentin is going to be smiling when he sees
I'm
this.
sure.
He'll be really happy. So currently you're racing IMSA and the MX5 Cup. In 2018, the year you graduated from the BC, you were the MX5 Cup scholarship winner, and you followed that up by winning the 2019 Rookie of the Year. And then something big happened in 2020, right? You won the MX5 Cup at $200,000. Get out of town! And that's some legitimate freaking green right there. So does that money help with your career, your racing career?
It's going to go a long way, for sure. We're running MX5 Cup this year. We're looking at other things to possibly get into, maybe a little NASCAR. But it definitely helps our racing program out, helps me out. And it kind of opens the door to a lot of other options.
Yeah, it helps you set yourself up for some bigger steps forward,
for one thing,
right?
It takes the stress off for this year.
Right.
Like I've got that covered.
You got the cabbage. You can pay the bills.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go for the gold, man. Go for the gold.
So your car number is 08. What's that number all about? Where's that come from?
So, I guess that was my dad's number was originally 8.
Okay.
And I guess when Dale Earnhardt Jr. was coming up through the ranks, running late models and whatnot, everybody wanted to be number 8 at that point. And so my dad switched to using 08. First he was using 8C when they'd go to big races. Then he switched to 08. Then it became 08C.
Yeah.
Because there were so many people at, like going to Martinsville and running big late model stock race or whatever.
Gotcha.
And obviously Dale Earnhardt was running late models at that time.
Yeah.
Or Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's my dad's number, 08, and so
I bet you he's real proud of you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I bet he is. So the races are 45 minutes long, and Lawrence believes that the Spec Miata races are 15 to 20. Does that extra? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They vary, like 25 minutes to I think 45 minutes is the longest we ever ran a Spec.
When you have more time, is it better to have a longer race or a shorter race?
I like the longer races. It gives you time to let the field shape out, and I like to get the race down to 3 cars, not 20.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the long races. It's not too long. 45 minutes seems like
Goes by
like
pretty
almost
quick,
an
I'm
hour,
sure.
but
Yeah.
in a race car, it's 20 laps. Before you know it, you look down, you're already.
When you're passing
Right.
a car to go win the race, is there adrenaline on board, or are you just like cold, hard, calculated?
No. Well, I mean, you're cold, hard, and calculated until you're doing it.
Yeah.
And then there's a rush of adrenaline, obviously, and
That's spectacular.
yeah, nothing like it.
You also raced and did quite well the MX5 on iRacing, which we are huge iRacing fans here because last year when coronavirus shut down the world, that's all we had to look at. Was iRacing, and we loved it. We talked about it. Big taught me all about it. And was iRacing good for you?
Yeah, I think I've had iRacing for I guess since 2012. So almost
10 years.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's really helped me out.
Okay.
There's a lot of tracks we go to are on iRacing, and it's a great tool to use to pick up new tracks, and the MX5 is on there. So I use it a good bit to kind of get in tune before race weekends. And
Yeah, that's what I've always said. It's almost like a batting practice, for baseball players. I mean, it's like, it's not going to be the exact feel unless you're like Denny Hamlin. You got a, $50,000-$70,000 rig with hydraulics, but your points, where you turn, all the points you're looking for. Definitely
visuals.
practice right.
Yeah.
Your butt's in the seat turning laps, and as he knows as a racer way better than I do, that's practice, man. I mean, that's how you're going to get better. So quick question for me, man. What do you like better? You like more like the Mazda road course, or you like full size, dirt racing, or interested in any type of, short track race at NASCAR, or maybe a road course, or?
So we actually have a couple of asphalt late models that we have one converted to road race.
Okay.
But that's what my dad always did. Dirt
Right.
racing and oval track racing on asphalt and dirt side.
Right.
So I'd love to do some oval track racing, short track late model racing, or even some short track dirt racing.
Right.
That's kind of like where we came from.
Right.
The sports car racing thing was we kind of were chasing the money.
Right. Well, that's right, man. I mean, hey, obviously you have a talent for it. There's nothing wrong with that, man.
Pro racing.
Yeah.
That's why we made the switch.
Okay.
But
So
yeah,
which is more difficult, do you think, for a guy that comes from a background of just road racing and like, a guy that grew up doing that, or somebody who, and goes to oval, or somebody who's more groomed on the oval, as many of these guys are, and then go over and try to learn how to road course race?
I think for me, coming up through quarter midgets, I learned all those, like how to set up somebody to pass and how to carry them.
Right, the base bare necessities of
that
it.
all
Yeah.
transferred over drastically into road racing. And a lot of people in road racing don't understand those concepts.
Right.
It takes them a while. They almost need to go. So I think starting oval track racing and going to road racing definitely helped me out. Some people, like some oval track people, say like, man, I could never road race, but
right.
really it's almost easier,
right,
to pick up
than trying to
Oval track racing is so refined.
Right.
You only turn left.
Correct.
There's only 2 turns, so, so you can really finally tune the car to turn that direction.
Yeah.
And you have to be so precise. Whereas in road racing, you're always going to have a compromise. You're going to turn left or right really well. You can't do both.
Right, okay? Right.
So, I think oval track racing, those principles carried over.
Carried over easy.
So we just watched the replay of your season opener of the MX5 Cup at Daytona, and that was pretty impressive there.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It looks like you were picking up where you left off last year. In that first race, you were running third, and you got pushed off the track. And a great save. People have seen that, and they realize that you actually are driving the car, And did you have any words with that driver afterwards?
No, when that whole accident happened, I kind of thought maybe it was my fault because it happened so fast.
Right.
I had moved up to side draft that train going by a little bit, and so I knew I'd moved up. But at that point, when we hit, the other car did come across my nose, and I didn't realize that until I looked at my in-car video after the race.
Yeah.
And but there was nothing to be mad about. It was a racing deal, and he even came up to me and was like, "Did I come across your nose?" And I said, "Yeah, you did." But we got to race the whole year.
Yeah.
There's no reason to get all uptight and upset about it. So
in the second race,
no big deal.
In the second race, you made a great move right before the caution came out on the last lap. You kept racing hard. Was your spotter screaming, "Go, go, go"? Were you getting some coaching there?
Yeah. So from the time that the wreck happened and it came across the TV to the time the caution was thrown, I think it was 28 seconds or
okay,
something.
Yeah.
And so my dad came over the radio first because he was in the pits watching the broadcast.
Yes.
And he said, "There's a wreck, it's probably going to be a full course yellow." And then my spotter came over the radio and said, "If you're going to make a move, make it now."
Right.
Because we had just come up onto the banking out of the road course.
Yes.
And it was a lot to process, but luckily I made the move. And it all
panned out, man.
Yeah.
That must be something to stand in victory lane at Daytona.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I had.
Holy crap! Can you imagine you standing in victory lane at Daytona?
Right, had to imagine that's what you work. You're working for. Like you said, he's going to school. He's got his stuff going on. He races. That's a passion. Otherwise you're not going to balance both. You're going to go to school or you're going to go racing. But obviously, he carries that racing as a passion, as he said. And I can only imagine the feeling, man. To work to get to that level and have the eyes on you and do what you do and know what it is, and then go out and showcase your talents like that and make a move. Hats off to you, brother. That is awesome, man.
So your dad, Mickey, is also your pit crew, your mechanic, and your transporter. What does it mean to have your father in your corner each week?
It means a lot. We've come up through the ranks together. I just turned 21, so the last 17 years, we've been that two-man team. And I think it's an advantage for us because, as we've come up, he knows he knows how I communicate,
right?
And how I,
what you mean and what you say,
exactly. What I say, he knows how to tune to it,
right?
And that's something a lot of people don't have.
Yeah, hard to find.
And like you said, he does everything for me. He transports the car. I, depending on school, I'll fly in, and but he takes care of
famous.
he takes care of all that.
That's awesome.
The logisticals, It's.
So we hear that there's some talk about you maybe running an Xfinity race in the near future. Any plans? Anything
No
going
plans.
on with that?
No plans yet. Just depends on like kind of like what comes together, really.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a NASCAR fan, I'm going to tell you something. I want you to, I said this before, I'm going to say again, look at that face. Remember this talk. Because, you know, the day's going to come when somebody's going to pull this tape up in 20 years. They're going to go, holy crap, that dude was on Rubbin' and Grubbin' back in the day.
We'll see.
So I know that you're on Instagram and Twitter. It's the @MCarter_08. If people want to follow your journey on social media, how else can they do that?
Yeah, so Facebook, we're at Micheal Carter Racing. And Instagram, I think it's Micheal Carter 08 or whatever.
You can go to the Coach Carl DeMasi Sports Report and see about it there.
But you can follow our series at Mazda MX5 Cup on Facebook. And I think it's Global MX5 Cup on both Twitter and Instagram.
Awesome.
So,
Next race at Sebring,
yes.
March 19th. I've actually been to Sebring as a warrant officer in the Army for a field problem.
Really?
I know Sebring.
Yeah.
Listen, Michael, we are as happy as we can be. I mean, we're smiling so much our faces are hurting. You know?
My face hurts right
Right,
now.
you know.
Oh, got a question from the fans.
We got a question.
If I learned something following you, isn't Sebring one of the oldest racetracks?
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
the question was Sebring old track. Yes, sir. It's in the middle of Florida, and it is a really, really old track.
I'm following it, kid.
Yeah.
There's a World War II airfield there.
Before we got really into race car driving, can you tell me what?
Listen, you notice that he showed up and we got 100 people in this place now?
Yeah.
Here's one for you. What sport did he participate in high school sports?
High school sports? Did you play high school sports?
Oh yeah, he did.
I did one sport in high school.
What was
Basketball.
Swimming.
that? Swimming.
Swimming.
There you go. I got grandkids that swim.
Yeah, my cousins are swimmers, man.
Michael, you are making us proud. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
on
you.
our
Yeah,
show.
man.
Thanks for having me.
We look forward to seeing you do
Yeah.
great things.
Yeah,
We know you
definitely
will.
greatly appreciated, brother.
Yeah.
Very nice meeting you, man. As always, hey,
care.
if you're in town, you got another break.
How about a
anytime
round
you
of
wanna
applause
come
for
up,
Micheal
man.
Carter?
Definitely, man.
Hey, baby. Right here on Rubbin' and Grubbin', Micheal Carter with Micheal Carter Racing. What a treat that was. Jesus, we've made it. And now, this show is called Rubbin' and Grubbin', and it's time for some grubbin'. We have the lovely Karen Kaiser Davidson to bring us our grub.
Totally loaded.
Nachos.
Nachos with everything. Listen, this is good, and they've got really good jalapenos on there. Thank you, darling.
Thank you, Miss Karen.
If you eat a bunch of these jalapenos, tomorrow you'll smile. You'll remember that. These are spectacular, and as soon as we get done with this show, I'm going to have this all over my face. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for the Carl DeMasi Sports Report with Coach Carl DeMasi and the AD Chad Griffin. They do a great job, and we're asking all of our fans to go to their YouTube channel and subscribe to their show. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to a YouTube channel. I do it like 8 times a day. Click, 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 you're done. It helps them out. Be sure to tune in to the Hot Grits podcast on iTunes and Spotify and laugh along with Travis and Spencer as they talk about everything in sports. And next Wednesday, we'll be back. But first, Brandon, take us home.
Hey, man. Thank you guys all for tuning in again tonight. Another episode of Rubbin' and Grubbin'. As Dan said, Coach Carl DeMasi, AD Chad Griffin coming up right behind us. You guys got to check out Hot Grits. You can find it on Spotify. A few other. Travis Spencer do a great job, amazing job. As always, big thanks, shout out to John and Adele Henderson for letting us do this every week, man. I mean, it is amazing the hospitality they show us with the Rubbin' and Grubbin' crew up here at Coach's. And hey, man, as always, you guys enjoy. Get ready to watch my boy Chase Elliott dominate this thing on Sunday. And I'll see y'all next Wednesday. Mask up, and until then, wash your hands.
We love you. Good night. Ooh, those nachos are good. Woo! Those are good.
A little spicy.
Yeah, they.